everybody. Welcome to Talking Cricket. We are back. We've been away from the airwaves for a few weeks, but we thought we would grace you with our presence on this Friday night at 7 p.m. So if you're in the chat, get involved. Hello to Colin. I know there'll be a few more coming in as we start. But if you are on Twitter, follow the Talking Town Twitter feed at One Talking Cricket. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like. It does help. And yeah, this evening we've got an absolutely stacked show because we haven't been here for a few weeks. So we're going to go through the summer test ratings. Then obviously the T20 World Cup. We'll have a look at that. Have a look at our England 11s. If you're in the chat, when we get to that, you can name your England 11, see if it's the same as us. And then we've got Rob's going to do a little bit on the Mancad. Obviously, people out there, if you didn't see England versus India at Lords, the controversial ending to the game. And then we've got a little bit county chat, a bit about the Strauss review, and then the end, Cornwall's chaos. Have a look at that. So tonight I'm joined by the wonderful Brandon and Rob, and hopefully Ian will be calling in live from Lancashire's end of season dinner. I think they're celebrating down there, Rob, that the Yorkies have been relegated.
Fair enough, mate. Yeah, it was a great. It was a great finish, wasn't it? I managed to watch it at Edgbaston, watching the stream on Edgbaston, seeing the end of that game against Hampshire.
We'll start on that then. We'll start on that while we're talking about it, Rob. Was it Liam Norwell?
That's it, mate. Yeah, signing from Gloucester.
9 for 62. He's had a lot of injury problems, and he absolutely cleaned up, didn't he?
Yeah, he had his day out, didn't he? I think he's probably a journeyman, to be honest. Hopefully, he won't be able to find me, will he? But I reckon. Yeah, he's had a day out there and taken 9 for ball pretty much unchanged from one end, heart on his sleeve, and yeah, got the job done, didn't they? So fair play to him. Sorry, Yorkshire. Have to come down and play the Villagers of Worcester.
Did you see Matt Parkinson's tweet, Brandon? Because I don't think he was very sad, was he, that Yorkshire had gone down?
I hadn't, but I can imagine being the prickly personality that he has, that it was rather prickly, was it?
It was. You could say he was rather happy. But so obviously Yorkshire went down. Surrey won the league, Rob, which I don't think was really much of a surprise. But it was interesting, wasn't it? Because Hampshire actually won more games.
Yeah, but it was the bonus points and the draws sort of.
Are they changing that next season? The points for the draw, Rob? Because I think do you get 12 at the minute?
I'm not honestly, Matt. I'm not sure without checking. I thought it was 12. 6 or 8, to be honest.
Yeah, it might be 8. I think
they should encourage. They should encourage teams to go for the win, shouldn't they? Not a lot on the draw. You're going to get the weather, aren't you, in this country? So when you can go for the win, I think you really should. Be it captains dangling a bit of a carrot. Do you want to chase this?
We don't need no carrots dangled at Chelmsford, do we, Brandon?
No, we might need a carrot dangle to see if we want to get to the third day or not most of the time.
What did you make of that? Because I watched some of that and it was. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. 26 wickets on day one of a county game and over by, was it just after lunch, wasn't it, on day 2?
Yeah, I've got to say that I think a lot of the stick Essex have got this year for their pitches have maybe been a little bit unwarranted because we've seen us sort of skittle a team on the first day, and then Cookie's gone and got a big score, and Essex have sort of doubled the other team's score. And when you see that it is both teams can get good out of the pitch, but there's certainly been one or two absolute stinkers, haven't there, when both teams have struggled to get to any batsman to get to 20. So, but none of the games really meant anything to Essex. I think after 3 games we were out of the title push, weren't we? And that's all you played for.
You got 20 more on that wicket. You were doing well, weren't you? Can you hear
Absolutely.
me? Can you hear me?
I agree, Rich. 20 on there was a good score, mate.
Anyway, yeah, so Notts, Middlesex promoted, Surrey champions, Warwickshire stayed up, Yorkshire went down with Gloucester. And then, we'll get a little bit later on, we'll have a little chat. I know Rob's a bit bored of the high performance report from Andrew Strauss. I don't sort of agree with a lot of it, but we'll get into that later. But we will start with all the way back to, I think it was early September, Rob, England, South Africa at the Oval. I was there on the Sunday. Can you tell me why you can't finish the game when you need 30 to win? You've got a full house in the ground, floodlights are on, off we go.
Bad times. Yeah, blame the floodlights. Experimental 11, experimental team. You know, win when it matters.
Well, yeah, another good win for England, Brandon. 6 out of 7 in the summer.
Yeah. I think the problem we have with that, I remember it always used to be the batsmen were offered light, weren't they?
Yeah.
I don't see why that has gone away, especially when the batsmen haven't shown any sign that they're struggling. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure that South Africa would have wanted to finish it there and then as well. If for whatever reason they didn't, I have no reason why, considering surely they want to fly back, because the reason we didn't extend the test was because they wanted to get back and spend time with their families before they went back on tour. So I can only imagine if they went to Elgar, you know, they need 30 to win. Are you happy to bowl your spinners or whatever they want to do? Just some way to finish the game. I don't see why that was good for any team that we extended it another day.
Although then if it rains all day on the Monday.
Yeah, they get out with a draw, don't they?
Yeah. So I know you look at the forecast and it wasn't forecast rain.
No,
so
no.
But I suppose if that is the rules, you know, and look, it is a shame. I think cricket sometimes, Rob, it does shoot itself in the foot a little bit.
Yeah, massively. Don't forget the impact of the Queen as well. You know, if we'd have had those 2 days, we obviously would have got it done anyway, wouldn't we? So that probably was a bigger factor than the dark in the end. Yeah, no, it does shoot itself in the foot. It probably shoots itself in the foot a little bit with the Mancad thing, but we'll come on to that later.
Light meters deserve to be in the bin. It should just go down to, if it's too dark, you don't play. I know that there's numbers and all this. They've taken a read and that'll be the reading for the rest of the test. Absolute bollocks.
It was actually, I think it was lighter on the Sunday evening.
They went off too early. They went off too early.
Watch on the TV, when you watch on the TV, it doesn't give you sort of a natural what the light is like. But look, I was there on the Sunday evening and thinking, look, the game was done. But I suppose, Rob, it is the rules and you have to just get on with it. But at the minute, you know, Test cricket, you want to promote it. There was 20-odd thousand in the ground and it just, you're coming away from there and you shouldn't really be talking about that. You should have been talking about the great days cricket, the great bowling from Broad and Anderson in the afternoon and Ollie Robinson. No,
you're absolutely right. There's a really good comment in the chat from Mike saying that why don't they just start the test early? You know, you're playing a test match in September.
It's about fans getting to the ground, innit? That's the problem they always say.
It is a little bit of that, yeah.
We won't have this problem next year, Rob, because the Ashes is done by the end of July. No Test cricket in September. Well, obviously August because the 100. We'll come on to that later. But right, we're going to give our test ratings, not for this test match. We're going to give them.
Before we do that, would you not say that the stopping the game when we need 30 to win, that's like you paying to go to the cinema to watch a film and then they throw you out 30 minutes of the film left. You don't ever see the end. All the build up of the film, you're not going to see the end, guys. Sorry.
Well, Brandon, if there's a blackout and we have to, then, you know, if the blackouts come in, then we'll have to do that, mate. Heard it here first.
There you go. Anyway, you've had an operation, haven't you? Before we go on, you've had an operation, Rob, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a arthroscopy on the knee to clear out all the junk that's been in there. It's been bugging me for about 4 years now, certainly the last season or two. But yeah, I had that 3.5 weeks ago. Recovery's going all right. So yeah, happy days.
Hopefully you'll be fit for next season because I'm coming to the game. You two, when the big clash is on, Rob versus Brandon, I'm going to be there. I'm going to get it on camera. I'm going to get it on film. He looks nervous up there, Rob.
I'm not nervous. He doesn't bowl, apparently. I'll only be nervous if he's bowling.
He looks nervous.
I've seen a few images. I've seen a few dubious sort of action shots. I think there's a big gap between bat and pad there that we can get a bit of it. Either a bit of in swing, either a bit of in swing, or
there's a one bounce 4 inside out, mate. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, not down at Manor Road, mate. That'll level you off. Not playing on that. Playing on the A14.
When are the fixtures out anyway? When can we?
I've been pestering the skipper for the fixtures. I think they normally come around sort of Christmas time earliest, don't they?
Well, early April. Early April. Them wickets are going to be nipping about, Brandon, down there.
I'm sure it will be.
When is a good score at Haverhill in April, mate?
Anyway, right. We're going to give our test ratings for the summer. So not the South Africa test match, for the summer. So we'll do the usual, Rob, go around the room.
Yeah.
I've got the stats down there. I'll tell you how many games they played, how many runs in the average, and then we can all give give our rating. So we'll start at the top. I'm not going to do Matt Parkinson, Billings, Brook, or Overton. They've only played one game, and I think it's not worth it, is it really? Even though Jamie Overton got what? He got in the 90s, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
He still only got a 3 from me. I did do him, but never mind.
Anyway, we will start at the top. Alex Lees, 7 matches, 327 runs at 25. High score, 67. Let you start, Rob.
I went 6 because there's enough there to keep him in the side, and there's probably not a lot too much knocking on the door, especially when we don't play much county championship back half of the season. I think they like him. He'll do a job for a period of time. I think he's only going to keep getting better. He seems to fit in with the regime, so I give him a 6.
Is he going to be used in Pakistan, Brandon, or will our mate, well, Ian's mate, he keeps banging on about him, Keaton Jennings? He's been in tremendous form throughout the summer. Good player of spin. Do you think Jennings comes in for Lees, or is Lees going to keep his place for you?
Lees, I think, should keep his place in terms of we've seen what happens to some players when they're replaced, regardless of what conditions are, and then they're asked to come back. They feel like they've been replaced, which he would be if Jennings come in. I reckon Jennings will be in the squad. I don't think he'll play ahead of Lees to start.
Alex Lees rating then.
Colin's doing it again to me. Look, he's nicking my numbers. 4. 4 for yeah.
See, I've given him 5, and I think we obviously talked about it, didn't we, guys, when he was in the West Indies, and he couldn't really get it off the square. And he's gone 360 now, and he's playing all these funky shots. And I still think a little bit, is that his natural game, Rob? I don't think it is.
I think Neil's mentioned it, and I had it in my mind that when he was certainly at Yorkshire before, he generally would get on with it a bit more and went into his shell a bit. When he often they get a test cap and they think, right, well, is this my only game? Do I want to play 2 games, 5 games? They're always looking over their shoulder a little bit, so they probably play within themselves a little bit. But I think the more he gets his, foot under the car, gets his, whatever that phrase is, for when he feels settled, he will. I think he will express himself a bit more, and I think he's probably the man. I just can't really think. I know we talked about maybe people coming in, even Brooks saying he'll open the batting just to get in the side. Yeah. I wouldn't be adverse to that, in all honesty, after seeing him wield the willow in Pakistan and in the last test against South Africa. But yeah, for me, he's all right.
He's not. I've not given him a 4 because I don't think he should have the England shirt. I think all summer, every game, we were saying he needs a big score. He needs a big score, and he didn't get it. That's why I haven't gone any higher than a 4, because as an opener, we've all talked about, you can see the shine off the new ball. With his strike rate going up, as you've sort of alluded to, he hasn't really seen the shine off the new ball much either. So I think he's good enough to be a part of this team. I just think that he hasn't got that big score that not only he wants, but all the fans have been alluding to him needing. He hasn't got that yet. Once he gets that,
it's a tough job. If you look at all the openers, Rob, from England, South Africa, India, Dean Elgar, good test batsman.
Yeah,
hardly got a run.
No one did.
So it's a real tough gig in England opening the batting.
Yeah, absolutely, and with the ball as well, which is being changed, I think, isn't it? For next year.
Brilliant.
No, it's a tough gig, and like I've already said, there's not necessarily too many knocking on the door. So while he's got it, he'll keep it for certainly this series, and as long as he's not dreadful in Pakistan, he'll probably have it moving forward into 2023. So I think there's probably more to be said about his opening partner, in honesty.
Zach Crawley, 7 games, 276 runs at 23. He went on a high though, didn't he? 69 not out. In the obviously the win over South Africa. I've given him a 5, Rob. Not dissimilar to Lee's. There's still question marks about both of them really, and I think Crawley maybe. If I was selecting the 2 out of the 2, I'd probably stick with Crawley because I think he's got
potential.
an upside
Ceiling, isn't it? Yeah, ceiling's high.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think they'll both be on the plane to Pakistan. I think they'll definitely be on the plane. But I've given him 5.
Crawley Crawley, if you take that 69 out of the 270 and then divide it by, you've probably not got much of you, like 18 or something, probably less than that.
Yeah,
So
spot on.
it was pretty yuck, really, apart from the last one. Yeah, so that's probably, that's you're only as good as your last knock or your next knock, aren't you? So for me, it's a good point you make when you say out of the two, I'd go Crawley. I think I possibly agree, but Lees has probably done more over the 7 games.
Not a lot in it. There's not a lot in it, Rob. It's not massively. It's probably just because he has done it before. He got that double 100, didn't he, against Pakistan, and he got 100. Did he get 100 in Australia?
West Indies. He got 100. He got a really good 70 in Australia, didn't he, last game?
So he has got it, but look, they're both under pressure going to Pakistan for me. They both go.
I agree with your aspect of the same score for both of them. I've given a 4 to Crawley as well.
Right. Bit of discussion about this guy because I don't think we're all in agreement when he said he'd bat at number 3. I think he probably knew, Rob, that it was his only avenue of getting into the team because I think all the other spots were filled. Ollie Pope, 7 matches, 4, 5, 6 runs at 38. I score 145. I've given him an 8. I think he's had a real good summer, and I'm giving him another point for his fielding as well.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I went 7.5, just behind you. Really good numbers. You average 40 in a test, at home as well. Relatively new to batting at 3. Partnerships with Root generally, wasn't it? He just looked. He did look like he was looked at home, didn't he? So good summer for Ollie Pope. He averaged 60 odd, doesn't he, in the county championship, and still very young. And like you said, burgled some good catches, didn't he, as well? So pleased with the lad.
7 for me.
7.
Agree. I think he came into the summer needing to sort of earn his stripes, prove that he's the man for the job, and he's done exactly that. So, there's other players in the team who've scored more runs and hit more tons, but when you're under the pressure that he was, he's come in and he's stamped his place down the team, and so credit where it's due.
He had a couple of good innings there in the South Africa series, didn't he? Obviously at Lords when we were under pressure, and he got 2 great catches at 1 count because he 2 of them were no balls. Great catch, I think, at Old Trafford off Robinson, short leg. Yeah. So he's nailed on for the foreseeable years. Right, Joseph Root, 7 matches, 615 at 68, high score, 176. He did have a little bit of I'd say a quiet series, didn't he, against South Africa? But I think that's a good thing when we're winning and Joe Root's not contributing. I've given him 8.5.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. I think the memory of this summer will be that reverse ramp off I think it was Saudi. Just looked at ease. Just looked easy. He just when he bats and he's going, which is nearly all the time, it just looks easy. He's got more time than everyone else. Hits it around the wicket, and scores at probably 80 per 100 balls in a test, 75. He just doesn't look like he's. He comes in and all of a sudden he's 20 off 25 balls. Just where maybe Pope or the openers have just maybe struggled a little bit. He just comes in and goes, cheers, back of the length, knock that through, 0.2, 4, whatever. I'll use the pace, run it down a third man, cheers, clip off, never misses it off his legs. Has no weaknesses, short ball, no hook, full ball, no, whatever. Spin, sweeps them to death.
Yeah.
Both sides, fantastic. Best player in the world, pretty much.
I think you look at the scoreboard. You look at the scoreboard, Rob, and before you know it, he's on 25-30, and you think, blimey, where did that come from? And he's off and rolling.
Same in white ball cricket as well.
His bowling's going to be needed, I think, Rob, in Pakistan, because the cupboard for spin, which we will get to when we get to Leach, is pretty bare at the minute. So, Joe, get your arm turned over because I think you'll be bowling plenty of overs in the Test series out there.
Good bowler. Good bowler. Gets it through. Sorry, Brandon, you go, mate.
Game of 6. Game of 6. Game of
No,
6.
No,
I did. Did game of 6.
No, you didn't.
I gave it 6.
Rich, he's going to justify it now, so it's fine.
The reason for it, we saw how well he played for the first half of the English summer, and they're the standards that he set for himself. And I think he didn't really score many runs against South Africa. He got a couple of good balls, but he also got out in some pretty ordinary fashions as well. It's the standards he's set for himself. If anyone else had the summer he had, there'd probably be a 10. But we just expect so much from him.
So what would you give him for the South Africa series on its own?
3.
Ooh.
He didn't score. He didn't get a score.
Didn't get a score. What did he get? 20 odd? Was that his top score?
And as I said, with that, it's not. He's had a good summer in terms of overall, but it's the standards he sets himself.
Yeah.
And at the moment, when players have a whole series when they struggle to get a score, sometimes that balls over to the next series and it can be a bit of a dry spell. Just ask Virat. But yeah, I'm sure that he'll bounce back with a big score in Pakistan. But that's my reason. It's the standards he's set himself.
He'll love it in Pakistan. He'll be sweeping them to death. Johnny Bairstow, him with talk about his injury. This sounds like a bad injury, Rob. Fell down off the tee, dislocated his ankle, snapped his leg. Just a gentle game of golf.
Who knows? We weren't there, were we? If
Roy was.
If it's maybe dewy first thing in the morning, a bit of a slip, bit of mud patch, I don't know. But it's what's done is done now, isn't it? So, Johnny, have the T20 World Cup off and come back strong.
I reckon it's Jason Roy and Alex Hales were hitting him with the 7 irons wanting to get on the World Cup plane, weren't they?
So 6-8-1, 7 matches, averaging 75, 400s, 162, 9.5 for me, Brandon.
I don't do 0.5s. 10.
We are allowed. Well, you give him a 10 if you want.
10.
9.5. Reckon he probably dropped a catch.
Juggled a couple, didn't he?
Did gobble a lot of them, yeah.
Anyway.
I don't tend to give a 10, mate, so you can have a 9.5.
Player of the summer.
Oh, definitely.
Who else are you going to give it to? Yeah.
PCA Player of the Year. Got that yesterday.
That's what I was alluding to, but it's fine.
Captain Ben Stokes, then. 7 matches, 368 runs at 41. He also took 18 wickets at 26. Brandon.
9. Close to giving him a 10 as well, to be fair. He's the Ben Stokes we fell in love with, didn't we? He's just a match winner. He'll just put the whole team on his back, and now he's doing it as skipper. And his record as skipper alone would get him, I think, above an 8. And then when you add the rest, what he's actually done in the game as an individual, as a batter, as a bowler, even he's taken some absolute skies off Leach as well, which a lot of people would drop. So what a summer he's had. It's not quite to the levels of 2019, but in a completely different way, he'll probably say he's enjoyed this summer more than that one.
I think the captaincy is the big thing, isn't it? The way we haven't used that phrase yet that describes the object that they bowl and the coach's shortened surname. We haven't mentioned it yet, have we? So, but he very much is an epitome of that and the attitude, and he's been brilliant as a leader. And then when you look at his numbers and go, as an all-rounder, if you can average more with the bat than the ball, then you're an absolute hero. Most all-rounders across cricket over the last 80 years probably average around even. If they played 40, 50 games, they'd probably even.
Average around 30 on each.
Exactly. And then the best ones ever average a little, your Sobers will average a bit more with the bat than the ball. But to go 50, to have that bigger difference all summer is pretty decent, isn't it? So 9, I give him a 9.
You didn't mention Jack Callis there, Rob. He's one of the best. What did he average? 50?
50, probably 55, 55 and 30, probably.
35. Great slip fielder as well.
His batting just kept going and going and going. Like how Smith was, average, 30, it just kept ticking. Callis just became this absolute wall, didn't he? Right. He bowled less and less at the end. He would have got 300 wickets. I think he finished on like 292 or something like that, but he would have.
He's not good with 90-odd mile per hour Yorkers, though, is he? Bless him. Struggles with them.
When it's done.
Out the side screen?
Above the sight screen, wasn't it?
I see that. That was on
above the sight screen.
Week. I see it, and he's like, fuck it out.
Poor guy.
Looked face like thunder. I've given Stokes a 9. I'd have given him higher if he hadn't tossed his wicket away a few times, but he has shown the way forward, hasn't he, with a bat. He wants them to play like that. So he's obviously going to have a few, I'd say, poor dismissals, but sometimes with him, he's a better player, Rob, than giving his wicket away for 10, 15, quarter mid-off.
Yeah, but his belief was that he was going to hit that ball for 6, or he was going to take the ball off his length or whatever, and that's the strategy, and that's how they're going about it. And he epitomised it. So
if you look at his 100 at Old Trafford, I think that's the way he should play, because he got himself in, didn't he? And then later on he can do that. But look, I'll give him a 9. And interesting to see how he goes in the winter in Pakistan. It's going to be totally different out there on them wickets. But
I reckon he'll get a really quick double ton. I just have a feeling.
Anyway,
30 ball double ton.
I think he'll smash it.
We'll rattle through these because we've only got an hour because Martin's put us under the pump tonight. Ben Folkes, 6 matches, 240 runs, averaging 40. He did get 113 not out. I've given him a 7, guys.
8 for me.
8. Beautiful with the gloves. Fantastic gloveman, best in the world. Probably the sexiest cricketer playing. Great teeth.
Dirty trousers, though. Dirty trousers, Rob.
He's a keeper, mate. Busy, isn't he? Busy.
He is busy. Anyway, he's nailed on. He's another one nailed on.
Nailed on.
Another one nailed on. Well, will he be nailed on for the winter? Stuart Broad. He played all 7 matches this summer. 29 wickets at 27, you know. And I early on, I thought, he's coming towards the end. But, look, you can't argue with them numbers. I've given him an 8. I like watching him bat. You never know what's going to happen. You know, just whack a couple of his head, Brandon, and he might hit you out of the ground, but eventually you'll...
I love watching Stuart Broad bat. I love it. Such a different enjoyment of watching someone like Joe Root, isn't it? But it still puts a smile on your face.
And
7.
Remember they had him padded up a couple of times in the summer, didn't they?
Nighthawk.
Nighthawk. We've not seen the Nighthawk yet.
I can't wait till we see the Nighthawk.
You might see it. I mean, personally, I don't think he'll go for the test in Pakistan, but you could see him doing it there. Just going.
Is his baby due soon, isn't it? I think he's due.
Yeah.
So
I
gave him a 7.
I'll give him an 8 as well, boys. I don't think he'll go Pakistan, but that's not really a problem. You know, it's a completely different game. Look after Anderson and Broad. We'll get them next summer out of them. Wrap them.
Get an Ashes out of them. Yeah.
Jack Leach, 7 games, 16 wickets at 36. 6.5 for me.
6.
7 for me. You didn't mention his economy, Rich. I thought his economy was pretty good.
What's he going at? Under 2? Around 2?
Probably I'd say about 2.5-ish, probably around. I don't know, but I just remember raising it on the pod during the summer that his economy, he was holding an end up. He was going like 35 overs for sort of 80, 1 for 2 for 80, doing a job, which allows those older statesmen of seamers to have a bit of a rest. And Stokes sort of is the right captain for him, isn't he? So he backed him, and he seemed to be enjoying himself. And he is the best spinner in the country at the moment. So, although it's funny, isn't it? We were all in the Parkinson corner, weren't we? But he really didn't really shine, did he? So I think Leach is the man. I think turning the ball away from Pakistan, turning the ball away from the bat, mainly right-handers. He's got a big job to do.
While we're on that, who else do you think they'll pick, Rob? Because I see yesterday that they think Will Jacks is going to go from Surrey because he bowls a bit of an offie. But
I don't think you're going to win last time we won a decent series, I'm thinking when it was Monty Panesar and Swan in India about 10 years ago, did a job, didn't they? You've got to take your best spinners. So do you go with Rashid or do you go Parkinson?
I don't. Rashid want to go? I don't. Look, Moeen, we were going to talk about him. We might as well talk about him now. He's ruled out going to Pakistan, and that's him. That's him done at Test cricket. So the cupboard is pretty bare, guys.
Yeah, I'm scratching my head. There's the reason we're all scratching our heads is because of the state of the wickets that have been in England and how beneficial it's been to be bowling swing. That's why we don't have much express pace coming through. That's why we don't have many good spinners coming through, is because they hardly get a bowl in red ball cricket, do they, the spinners? So
unless their name's Harmer and they play at Chelmsford.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's bloody South African. Like half the England team are, to be fair. But that's where the problem lies, and I'm sure they're going to pick a spinner that I probably won't know much about. So I can't tell you a spinner because I don't know.
I wonder if they'll have a look. I think Don Bess has sailed a bit. I think he's very average. He looked like he had the yips last time he played for England in India. And possibly Verdi at
You take Dan Lawrence?
I'll tell you who I would take.
Right.
I'd take Rian Ahmed from Leicester. 18-year-old.
Yeah, he's only 18.
Absolute class. In England under 19. Brilliant in the World Cup last year. Scored a ton on the last day of the season for Leicester. Batting like 5. Jesus, batting 5 or 6 and bowling leg spin.
You've sold it to me, Rob.
I know, mate. Get him in. Rian Ahmed. Heard it here first.
Yeah, you did. Right, we've nailed him on. So, Jack Leach, Jimmy Anderson, 6 matches, 27 wickets at 18. He's like a Rolls Royce. 9.5 for me.
Blimey, that's high. That's high. I did give him higher than Broad, so I suppose we're the same there. I've given him an 8, but it could be an 8.5. I won't do him 0.5s when I don't mind.
I've gone. Brandon, I think when you hear the numbers, I've given him a 9. When you hear the numbers and it's wickets at 18, I mean, if he bowls
more,
a team
I think the amazement is that for how many years we've thought that this calf injury he's got might be the last one, and he's still bloody going and still looking. He's just getting better and better, isn't he? And every time he gets that new ball, you just pencil in a wicket. They're going to be 50 for 1 at least. They're going to be 40 for 2, and it's just Jimmy Anderson. What a man!
And he doesn't go for any runs. His economy's a joke. He goes for nothing.
To be fair, if I was facing him, regardless of how good I was, if I was an international player, this is, I know that. But even if I was a player like Steve Smith, when I was belting out hundreds, this, that, or whatever, if you're batting against Anderson in England, you wouldn't want to play any shots against him, would you? You'd be absolutely terrified with Anderson with a new ball. Absolutely. Put the bat between your legs and hope that he gives you enough to leave. Don't want to touch it. Quality.
Are you taking him, Rob, to Pakistan, or are you leaving him home?
No, leave him at home. I'd take the quickest quicks we can find, and I'd take Robinson to bowl metronome, and I'd take spinners because that's what Pakistan.
Well, you're probably going to need. You're probably going to need one opening bowler. Then you've got Stokes, and then you probably you have 3 spinners, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's just the makeup of those spinners, isn't it? Because it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Ollie Robinson can bowl spin.
He can. Yeah. Let's not go there though.
You'd probably want an off spinner, a left armer, and a leg, and a wrist spinner as well. A wrist spinner. So, yeah, like you said, and then a seamer. They'll probably go with 2. I think they go with Mark Wood or
Ollie Stone, possibly.
Yeah,
if he's fit.
But it's horses for courses. You go to Pakistan or Sri Lanka, you go there. You've got to play their way. You can't just go with four seamers and an off spinner because it's not going to work.
Australia did. Well, they had 3, and Cameron Green and Nathan Lyon, and they won. They did play Swepson for a couple of tests, but he didn't do a lot. What about Matthew Potts? Would you take him? 5 matches, 20 wickets at 28, 7.5. Good start. Good start for him.
7.5 as well here, mate. Started really well. I think he maybe got a little bit tired. Could have probably done with a rest in between. Did he play 4 in a row, perhaps? They could have done with maybe a little break in there. Decent pace. He certainly finished the county season very well. He picked up hatfuls of wickets with Durham. He'll go. I'm pretty sure he'll go. He'll probably play 1 or 2 of the 3.
Alternate with Ollie Robinson. That's what I'd do.
Agreed.
But I gave him a 7. Similar to Pope, but obviously in different ways. Pope had to nail down a spot in the team based off the fact that he'd been poor previously. Potts came in, and I think the sort of general public looked at it saying he's been picked a bit by default of all the injuries we've got and things like that.
True.
And the fact that he was the hot hand in the county game at the time, but he came in the international stage and he proved that he belonged, didn't he? The way that he performed, especially the first couple of tests against New Zealand. So 7 for me. He's shown that he's not to be chuckled at in terms of selection for England, and that's always a good thing.
And the last one, Ollie Robinson, 2 games, 12 wickets at 15. I've given him a 9. Over his injury problems, the pennies finally dropped, Rob. He said now he's working harder and he's actually training like a test match cricketer, which he obviously wasn't doing before, with the John Lewis comments after Australia probably ringing in his ears. And he's learned, and look, I don't know how long Anderson and Broad are going on, but I think we're pretty much Robinson's going to take over from, he's taken a new ball already from Stuart Broad, hasn't he, when he's played in these 2 test matches?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He'll pick up the baton and do that job, be it opening the bowling and then containing, bowling wicket taking deliveries. I'm really pleased with him. I'll give him an 8 because he played 2 games. So,
yeah, fair
I'm
enough.
really happy with how he's come back. I'm probably a bit surprised. I also kind of wouldn't be surprised if there was a lapse or like a bat goes or some sort of drinking incident makes an appearance in the next couple of years.
He is the angriest medium pacer that I've seen. Yeah. He gives it a lot of stick, doesn't he, to batsmen?
He's just got a yard, Brandon, since he's come back. His pace is... That was one thing that let him down when he played before. It was like the 3rd,
78.
It was a big drop-off, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but I do like people who are a bit twatty. Do you know what I mean? And he would be...
You're a bit twatty on the field.
Absolutely. I don't walk, even if I've middled it to slip. Just ask Ipswich. I think I think Ollie Robinson would get in my team, which would be captained by David Warner, on just horrible cricketers.
Hell,
He'd be in there. Virat Kohli, sorry, skipper.
lovely.
Warner's
Lovely.
vice skipper. Sorry.
Anyway, talking about twatty behaviour before we get onto the T20 World Cup.
Perfect segue.
Rob,
Yes, mate.
talk to us about Dipti Sharma.
Okay, well, as I'm sure people know, but just in case they don't, in England women against India week Saturday before at Lord's, which was fantastic to see them playing there. The game was moving towards a crescendo finish as England's last pair chipped away and got it down to 16 runs to win. Charlie Dean was going remarkably well. She was 47 not out at the bowler's end. Freya Davis was on strike, and Sharma, as I'm sure we know, decided to terminate a bowling action before completion and dinked off a bail and then appealed. Now, according to the ICC laws, in fact, 41.16.1, as I'm sure you know, Brandon, you're nodding, is that that's a run out. It used to be unfair conduct, but the ICC moved it into run out. So, there's several concerns and people taking both sides. Generally, people who are England taking one side and Indians taking the other, and people in the middle sort of saying 50-50. My only point on it I really raise is that at the end of the day, it's part of the laws. All the people in the English media were very much a case of anti it. I just wonder, although I think I know the answer, how would the English media and former players have responded if it had been an England player doing it to an Indian player or opposing player?
I still think it would be the same.
I think they'd respond. I agree, Brandon. I think they'd have responded the same way and would have vilified the English bowler for doing so. It's like at club level, it happens. My own daughter did it for Suffolk under 11s. She ran the girl out. She was like, I don't know, 5 yards out of the crease, and she did it and appealed. And then you could see all the parents and everyone just going, no. And everyone was like, mate, and it was retracted and it was fine, and life goes on. Club level, you give them a warning, they don't do it again. Fine line, but ultimately it's in the laws. And
did they come out, Robert? Did they come out? I heard a bit of talk about saying that they had warned her, and Heather Knight coming out saying,
load of crap.
You're lying, and you didn't warn her.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, they tried to wrap it up and say that, which was, it's tit for tat. It's one side against the other. She said that, he said that, she said that, and move on.
My problem with it was at the point when she should have released the ball, she was in her crease. She's not trying to nick any ground whatsoever. It happened to one of my teammates this year. I was umpiring and the bowler warned our player when our players walked because the spinner should have released it. Normal backing up. They're not trying to nick any room whatsoever. And it was the exact same. And I just think if the player is in the ground at the point when she's landed her front foot and has got to this point in her bowler mark, who else wouldn't walk? Every batsman would be following,
I have got one for you, Brandon, and we may well come on to him later, and his name's Rakeem Cornwall.
Right.
I think he possibly would be not moving much.
Might be backing up. Yeah, you might be right there. But I just think if that was the case, a spinner could get a wicket every over by doing that, because batsmen are going to be walking at the point when you're meant to be bowling the ball.
Do you think we'll see more of this? Do you think we see more of this going forward, Rob?
Yeah,
I hope we don't. But do you think, say the 2020 World Cup final, England are playing Australia, and it's
I think there possibly will be an incident where it rears its head again. I think you're probably right, Rich. Could be something in the T20 World Cup, hopefully not in the final. One thing I didn't mention, which was really good actually, I don't know if you saw, on the Sunday, Charlie Dean was playing in the Royal London or whatever it was.
And it's first ball, didn't she?
And the first ball she did, she ran up, faked a bowl, made a scene out, made a laugh about it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a really nice touch from her.
Don't you think also it was Goswami? It was her last game. She's been playing for forever for India. So years. It was obviously they made a big thing out of this, Rob. And she bowled and it took the shine off that a little bit.
The team were booed off at the end. It must have felt like
they weren't booed off by everyone. They weren't booed off by everyone, Brandon. They were booed off obviously by the England fans there. India loved it. Look, they've got a bit of history. Ravi Ashwin's done this before, more than once.
I was going to say, is he going to the World Cup? We'll definitely see the World Cup, won't we? He might
Ian
not
says he sat behind Onions, Wells, and Keaton Jennings. Ian, come on the show.
Get Jennings on the
Jennings
show.
on. We have a little chat with him. Anyway, we'll put that to bed. And while you did mention his name quickly, Cornwall Chaos, Rob. He was playing for Atlanta Fire in the USA Minor Cricket League. 205 not out off 77 balls, 17 fours, 22 sixes. He didn't fancy running many, did he?
Well, no, the scary bit about that is there's 30-odd balls that he scored the other 5 from. So if that's 5 singles, there's 25 dot balls in there as well. Where he's probably thumped it to like long on, long off and gone, nah. I do like. I've followed him for years. Decent off spinner, to be fair. Decent Test cricketer.
Yeah.
Probably will have a decent career. Just warms the cockles of us clubbies. I think seeing him conduct.
That's where Liam Plunkett's playing over in for Philadelphia, isn't he, in America?
Yeah, I know he went out there in the States. Cornwall could get a call up for the West Indies. Who's the lad who missed his flight?
Yeah,
he's out. Sorry, missed the flight.
Cornwall in. Did anyone see the shot that Mayo's played?
Yeah, I had it down for any other business.
My God, what a shot that was!
110 meters, I think, over point.
110 meters over point, inside out, off not a bad ball. Just it's a normal length, you know. Cameron Green.
Yeah,
Cameron Green bowled sort of, ordinary length ball, as they'd call it. But Mayo's just straight bat, over point, 110 metres. See you later.
A couple of wins for the Aussies, though. Brandon warming up. They're looking good. And we've got them coming up. We're going to come on to the T20 World Cup. We've got 3 warm-up games with Australia starting on Sunday. And then we play on Wednesday, Friday before we start. So we have a quick. We ain't got a lot of time. We've probably got about 25 minutes. What were your thoughts of the England-Pakistan T20 series? England obviously won 4-3. First time out there, Brandon, since 2005. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great series.
I think it was a brilliant series. I mean, it started off, didn't it? Games being won by England, then Pakistan by a big, big distance. I know that England lost by 3 runs in one of the games, but we shouldn't have ever really got close to it, shouldn't we?
And then we should have won it. Liam Dawson, just smash it out of the ground.
Yeah, he did.
Done the hard work.
He'd done the hard work and laid an egg, bless him. But England going out there with a B team sort of up at top order at the time. I know Harry Brook, I'm sure we'll come on to him, has probably won himself a spot in it should be in the starting 11 at the World Cup. But without people like Butler, Bairstow, Stokes, Livingston, to score the amount of runs that we did, even Milan didn't come good until like the last match. To score the amount of runs that we did shows the depth of quality we have with the bat and white ball cricket.
Yeah. What about you, Rob? Did you enjoy the series?
Yeah, mate, because obviously being off with a knee, I probably saw nigh on every ball, mate.
Did you enjoy the adverts, Rob, that they used to have? Was it Sensodyne?
Apple tea.
Tea break.
And that idiot on an exercise bike with a washing machine.
The washing machine.
That
was one of the highlights for me, was Gower on commentary.
Yeah.
They went there with the washing machine turning. There was no one on the bike. Did you see that day? That was brilliant.
Absolutely shambolic. And I felt for Gower and Butcher, actually, just having to talk through it, like contractually obliged to. I thought they just absolutely sold their souls to the devil there. It's absolutely shocking. But the series was amazing. I thought Brook was unbelievable.
Yeah,
I thought
brilliant.
Mo as captain was very, very good. Probably underused himself. Didn't bowl much. Possibly could have nudged himself up the order a little bit. I thought Salt just about outbatted Hales for me. Milan did Milan things, and then
a little shout out for Ian. I don't know if he's watching, but he did say Ben Duckett, and I think he got a little bit of stick on it. He had a really good series, Rob. I thought he's probably put himself in the limelight to be picked for the test team for Pakistan.
Yeah, because of the way he plays square of the wicket, sweeps, different types of sweep, lap sweep, reverse sweep. He went to, I think, Bangladesh about 7 years ago and went okay, but he actually cited the fact that it was probably too early for him. But yeah.
They opened with him. Was he opening then?
Yeah.
Really struggled, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he got a few scores, but in Bangladesh, it was
150. I think he got 150, Rob, and then he didn't really get a lot else out there.
Yeah, it's carnage out there. You know, Bangladesh, Pakistan, it's so hot out there, and the way the pitches crumble up into bits, it's tough. But he said he wasn't. He said himself in an interview he wasn't ready back then. Now he's much better player, and I believe him. I like him. I think he's a bit horses for courses. I think he's a subcontinent batter for us. Probably doesn't play in England, but I was really impressed with the way he just took it to them and just swept them and used the pace. Batted really well with Brook and mainly Brook, to be honest. And yeah, fantastic.
Obviously, we have to talk about the main man. Made his comeback, didn't he?
The wizard.
No, we're about Mark Wood, not Chris Wokes.
Oh, shame.
Pace.
Did you have a little bet, you two, on Wokes?
I wish I should have doubled it. The next game he played, he went for 6, didn't he?
Yeah, we had a little bet where I said that he'd go for over 8s, and I think it was the last ball of his last ball of the spell should have gone out of the ground, and he got caught in the boundary.
Yeah, he went for 6 before, didn't he? And then another pie.
I was scared.
Colin's right. Colin's in the chat there, Brandon, about what about the flies? I mean,
it reminded me of the Euros final when Ronaldo got injured against France, and there's that image of Ronaldo kneeling down crying, and there's a massive moth just floating in front of his face there. Anyone remember that? Good times. That's what it reminded me of.
Anyway, yeah, Mark Wood, outstanding. He played a couple of games. There he is. Look at this.
Good evening, Good evening, Britain. How's it going?
Well.
I can hardly hear a thing, sorry, because it's quite loud. I've just been talking to Andrew Flintoff. Sorry, I didn't get his. I didn't get him.
Are we going back into lockdown, Prime Minister?
Chris, I can't hear a thing here, lads. Here we go. This is making for good viewing, isn't it?
Where are you? Are you in the point? Are you in the point, Ian?
It's all going on at the minute. I'll just briefly bring you into.
Wow, this is live from Lancashire's in-season.
With our grassroots. Hi, Karen, you all right? How you doing? Do you want to be live on a podcast, by the way?
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Yeah,
Karen.
sorry, Karen worked right. Yeah, so this is pretty disjointed. I really apologise, but it's just kicking off. We are sat behind the players, but it's the Lancashire and Cheshire Grassroots Cricket Awards, and then it's the Players Player of the Year Awards. So they've all sort of pitched up. But I think Darren Goff's going to be doing something. Flintoff's turned up. I've been talking to John Abrams because he used to coach my lad. Now, obviously, my lad's working for him.
I'm dropping all over the gaff here, guys.
He scrubs up well as well, doesn't he, look, boys?
Who's driving in? Are you getting a taxi?
Go on, say that again.
Are you getting a taxi home?
I'm driving, unfortunately. I've got to be in York tomorrow. I'm missing the Morecambe game, so I'm absolutely gutted. But Josh Mahan's just into the toilet. I just thought I'd share that with you.
Can you get us in there?
News.
Get us in there, Ian.
I can't hear it. It must be my phone and they're shouting from next door, but I can't. So very brief appearance. So apologies if it's rubbish. I hope it's been going all right tonight.
All good. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you soon.
Marvellous. I've gone for, if you are worried, I'll just do a little bit of that. I've gone for Nick Knight 1998 look tonight. It's working.
Have you gone for the beef? Have you gone for the beef?
No. No, I'm on the vegetarian option.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Anyway, we'll see you soon, Ian. Thanks for calling in. Look at that. That's amazing.
Am I the only one who looked like he wasn't wearing any trousers? It looks skin colour to me. I was like, right, that's nice.
I don't know, Colin, if Clive Lloyd is there.
Brilliant.
I'll ask him. I'll send him a message.
Brandon, that's called beige.
Right.
Get style. Right, yeah, we just briefly touched on before Ian came in. Mark Wood's pace, 97 miles an hour. Woo.
Quick.
He was different gravy, wasn't he?
I liked when he got hit down the ground, and then the next ball was I think it was a 95 mile per hour leg stump Yorker. See you later. brilliant.
It just showed just that difference between like 88, 89 and 95. It just that although it's only a small amount, even like your Baba and Rizwan just looked rushed, didn't they? Look hurried. They weren't getting hands through it. They were just trying to deflect it. Different gravy. If we can wrap him up in cotton wool, get him through, World Cup literally without knowing the schedule. I'm afraid, Rich. If it's somebody pumped, just rest him. Just
get him to the knockouts. Get him to the knockouts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, well, quickly, while we're here, pick
Someone
out
else
11.
returned, Rich. Someone else returned, Rich. Someone else returned in the series, didn't they?
Yeah, don't worry about Chris Wokes. We've briefly touched on him. There is a Wokes. I can't remember the Wokes. There's a Wokes page on Twitter that Ian's discovered. I'll share it with you, Brandon.
That's my account.
That isn't your account. You've got over 1,000 followers. That is not your account. Don't be silly.
My account.
Anyway, right. We'll quickly pick our 11. I think the opener, one of them is going to be Josh Butler, guys. Who would you have opening the batting when we play Afghanistan on the 22nd of the month in Perth? Who would be walking out with Josh if he's fit, Ian? Rob.
Yeah, no, he'll play. I think it was really intelligent how they didn't use him. He was there. He was doing his laps. I just think with a calf injury, muscle injury in the heat over there, really easy to aggravate it for no reason. And also, he's the first name on the sheet and has been for like 8 years. He's out there. He's around the boys. Just let the other three battle it out, and he did. If he'd have got in the way and batted 60, 70 balls every game at the top and scored a nice 80, 90 like we know he will do, we don't learn enough about the others. And the difference between us and Pakistan, the difference between us and Pakistan is they were only missing Shaheen Shah Afridi. They were full ball, weren't they? That was their best team they could get out. Whereas I think Brandon said that was literally our B team at times. Yeah. So I think fantastic.
Who are you opening with then?
Salt.
Brandon.
Hales.
Yeah, look, I was really impressed with Phil. So obviously that one innings. I think Hales, Rob. I think they've not
picked him for.
No, they've not picked him, and then he's not going to be in the 11. I don't think
they've not warmed to him. I think they've given him his taste, but he hasn't done what he needed to do, which was
dropped some shockers as well, didn't he, in the field?
They dropped some shots.
Yeah, and also don't forget if Salt plays, he keeps wicket, so Butler just captains the side, which is important, I think, in that format. That he's not opening back captain and keeper. So that's probably why Salt plays for me anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to playing Phil Salt. I know Ian would have Phil Salt in. He'd probably have half the Lancashire team in if he.
I'd always say, Rich, about Hales is he just looks a bit clubby. He just looks like a good club player who just biffs it, whereas Salt and a lot of the others just look a bit classier than that.
Can we clip this up? Can we clip this up for when Alex Hales is player of the tournament?
Clip it away. I don't think
we
play much.
If we ever have intros on this podcast, that can be his intro. He just looks a bit clubby.
Anyway, number 3, it's got to be Milan. I think we should all. Are we all in agreement?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, who you're not putting Wokes up there with his grey nickels, are you?
No, I wish. I'll put Mo and Ali at 3. I'd have Mo up there.
Are you not picking Milan in your team?
He's not, no.
I think that would be a big mistake, especially on these wickets out in Australia, Rob, where he's good at cutting and pulling.
Yeah.
And I think he'll get a lot of runs out there.
No, he's playing the Big Bash for years as well.
Yeah.
Suits his game. He's just a lock at 3.
Much more.
He's going to score 120, 130 runs with, strike rate 120, 130, and it's explosives at the other end, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you have to have someone like that in your team.
Well, it would have been Joe Root, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I do agree. But I think the way that the team falls, I really think that Mo and Ali has been underused as a batsman in 2020 cricket, mostly because the amount of batsmen we've had, like when we had Bairstow and Roy both in the team, you still had Butler, Stokes, Livingston, and the rest of them, and then Ali was down at 7 or 8 or whatever. I just think that Mo and Ali is class, and I'd like to get him higher up the order, and I'm not moving Stokes, and we'll get on to who I'd have at 5. Yeah, I'd have him 4, but I'm not. I'd rather have Mo and Ali at 3. I think that's where we'll get the best out of him. And I think he'll win more matches than Milan will. He's more of a match winner with a bat than Milan.
Milan, been number 1 in the world as well. Bit harsh, I think, if we drop him.
No, I've said the same thing on the show. I've backed Milan recently, but
so Stokes is going to bat a 4. They've said that already. Who are you having at number 5, Rob?
For me, Brook.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreement.
Brandon.
Yep. Brook.
So I've got Moeen Ali at 6 in my lineup.
I've got Livingston.
I've got Livingston.
I think that they could float either of them. Have you got Ali at 7 then?
I have. I think with a proviso that if it gets to like 5 overs at the 15th over and we're 3 down, I'd go Brook and go and have a sit down, and I'd go Livingston Ali above Brook if there's 5 overs left.
I don't think he's going to be fit for the start of the tournament, is he, Livingston?
No, but I'm doing this on the proviso. This is our ultimate team.
Yeah. I've got him in. So, who have you got at 7, Brandon?
Curran.
Big fan, aren't you? He didn't make my team. I'm a big fan of Sam Curran, but I can't find space for him, I'm afraid. In my
You got
team.
Jordan. You got Jordan.
I've got Chris Jordan in. Death bowling.
Thought you would.
I was going to go Wokes, but then I thought,
I'm on the channel, so you wouldn't. Yeah.
No.
No,
because you're here. I've got Jordan at 8. What about you, Rob?
Curran. I mean, wouldn't not picking Wokes have something to do with the fact that it's not in England and it's not in April? Other than that, he has no real value. No, Curran, for that bit of Curran, he can bat. He really can bat at 8. I don't want him at 7. That's too high. I like him at 8.
You're going to need batsmen down. If you're needing batsmen down that end of the order, I think something's gone wrong. Really.
No, I agree. But he's just a winner. He just seems to, when he's in the team, we seem to just win. So I've got him. He bowls cleverly enough. I think he's getting better and better. I would have no adversity to Jordan at all. I think I'm just because Jordan's been out. When was the last time Jordan played? You know, he hasn't played much cricket, has he? So
Netherlands,
for me, it's probably 51-49, 52. It's really that close between him and Jordan. I only decided in 20 seconds ago. And then we've probably all got the same bottom 3, I would have thought.
Well, I've got Wokes at 8, by the way. I've got Curran at 7, Wokes at 8.
He's not getting a gig.
Bring it back, Rich.
He's not getting a gig. So I've got Jordan and I've got Wood, Rashid, Topley.
Correct.
Agreed.
And then on this, look, you've got your reserves. You've got Wokes. David Willey again. This is going to be the second World Cup where he's going to be really unlucky because he's hardly going to play a game.
Yeah, it's because he's not good enough.
True.
Yeah, look, I think he's a good cricketer, but I don't disagree with you there. So, we've got Salt and I've got Curran on the side.
I'd have Gleeson ahead of Willey any day.
I think Willie's a good county cricketer. He just he it's unfortunate that we're this good. You know, if he was 5 years older or younger, he probably would have played more. But he's just in an era where we are top 2 in the world. So
I don't fancy Willey in the team.
Not out there, not on them wickets. I think he could go the distance. I really do.
Brandon, don't clip that one. Don't clip that one, Gov. Don't clip
mate. You definitely said you're a big fan of. You're not. No, let's just doctor it a bit. I think you said you're a big fan of Willey.
No, I said I don't want Willey in the team.
Oh, brilliant!
So you don't like Willey?
Not in the team, no.
Not in the team. No, not in the team. Oh,
ruins team pictures, doesn't it?
He's not good enough, Brandon.
He's not good enough. Like I say, we've got 3 warm-ups, and then we start on the 22nd, Afghanistan. And there's obviously 2. The qualifiers start before, don't they, Rob? So we've got 2 groups of 4, and then 2 from each group, the winner and the runner-up. So we could play Ireland, we could play Scotland. I think we'll play Sri Lanka because I think they'll win their group.
Yeah, they won the Asian Cup. Sri Lanka won the Asian Cup, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they're not bad at
Chris Silverwood.
They've got you beat me to it. The fantastic Chris Silverwood leading them through.
But, so right now we're going to get to who we think is going to win the tournament, who we think is going to be the top run scorer, and who we think is going to be the top bowler. So we'll leave the winners till the end. We'll go best top bowler, Brandon. Who are you going for? And it can't be Chris Wokes.
Josh Hazlewood.
Leading wicket taker Josh Hazlewood from you. Rob?
Rashid Khan.
Good shout. I've gone Mitchell Stark. Got 4 today, I think, didn't he, in the warm-up against
You did.
the Windies.
The only thing with Khan is I wouldn't want to go for him because I don't know how far they're going to get in the competition.
Yeah, but he might clean up in the games he plays. He's going to play in. They
Yeah,
have
he
6
will.
games anyway.
Don't forget they got the prelims.
Oh, prelims. There he is.
No, they're already in. Afghanistan already qualified, Rob.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
They're already in.
I think, mate, best bowler in the world. Best bowler in the world. And it was
I don't think that's how you pronounce Chris Wokes, though. Rob. Best bowler in the world.
Top run scorer. Rob.
Start?
I've gone David Warner.
Brandon.
Rohit Sharma.
Oh, Rohit. I've gone Baba Azam.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Pakistan, you just don't know what you're going to get, Rob, with them. They could be brilliant or they could be an absolute car crash.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think what I mentioned earlier about us giving everyone a go, those two open the batting in 6 of the 7 games. And yeah, well done to those two for batting on absolute flat ones with the outfield that it was, and they are class. But what did Pakistan learn about the middle order? Well, they learned that if they chuck them in with 8 overs to go and tell them to thrash it, they're not very good, but nor are many people. So they didn't really get that series right. I think they were so pleased to have England there, and it was a fantastic series with the narrative of matchups and battles across the sort of 2-week period. It was brilliant, but I don't think they used it as well as we did. I think you're absolutely right. Babar Azam is absolute class. Him and Joe Root are the best 2 Test batters around.
They will both get a hatful in the Test series.
Pakistan's batting lineup is like a wagon wheel. It's nice and hard on the outside, and the middle is as soft as marshmallow.
You like the ones with strawberry?
No, I had an orange one the other day, and that was awful. But
they're not. Yeah. They're nowhere near the size they used to be, Rob, are they?
Shambles. All chocolate is smaller. I mean, possibly my hand might be bigger, but when I pick it up, it is like a fun size.
Yeah.
Not happy.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why you have to have 5 at a go.
That's why you have to have 2.
Who's winning? Who is winning
India.
the T20 World Cup?
India.
Even without Bumrah, you think India?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Good shout. Rob.
Guess mine.
You're going for England. I knew he would, because he said 3-0. He got the Test series right. He'll probably be right. Hopefully he will.
Lives by the sword, dies by the sword.
No,
I just think we're class. We've got...
Yeah, we are.
Stars
do you think we're going to win the Ashes 5-0 next year, Rob?
No.
Blimey.
That's probably a podcast. Probably a podcast in May, that one.
All right.
Look, I think we'll definitely make the semis, and then it's... You know how these games go, Rob. They're a toss-up sometimes, a great bit of fielding, an over here or there. We at the start of this, when we done the last T20 World Cup, Brandon, do you remember the game against New Zealand? The game was in England's hands.
Chris Jordan kept on bowling bloody length.
Out
bowl something else, Jordan. Bowl something
There's
else.
Another one. So I think we'll definitely be in the semis. Right, let's go. I'm going to go for Australia to win it, but let's pick the semi-finalists.
Get the groups up.
Mate, to be honest, it's tough for me without looking at the groups and stuff, but the best 3 teams in it are England, Australia and India, and the bookies would agree with that. And then there'll be the 4th one is normally somebody random. I think the Kiwis have got the worst kit, so it won't be them. Sri Lanka...
What kit are they wearing? Not the brown.
No, we like that's a nice kit. No, it's black. It's just this grey going on. Have a look at it. It's poor from them, because when you wear black, that's just like the easiest, best kit colour. But they've mangled it this time. So not New Zealand. Could be Pakistan, because of the quality they've got. Could be Pakistan.
I've got the 8 who are in groups, if that helps.
There you go.
You've got Afghanistan, Australia, England, and New Zealand in one, and then Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and South Africa in the other at the moment.
Don't forget the qualifiers.
I know. I'm telling you who's in there at the moment.
Thanks, mate.
Anytime. So Sri Lanka will be in one of them, and will be in as will they? And then
the Windies will be in another. I think Sri Lanka go into our group, Brandon. We play the winners of that. And
so for me, that'll be us and the Aussies, India and Pakistan. For me.
Yeah, South Africa don't inspire. I know South Africa have pushed India, but a bit of a sort of. It certainly wasn't India's best side. Sri Lanka, South Africa flattered to deceive a little bit. West Indies, I think they'll struggle on with the pitches. I think watching a little bit of those warm-up games, the Australian quicks are too quick. They get too much bounce. The West Indies, who like it slow and low. So I think West Indies are probably not really in the mix. Is Chris Gale playing? No, I think he is.
He's only a clubber anyway, Rob. He won't do very well.
No, he's class. Chris Gale's class. Chris Gale's class.
So Sunday, England in Perth. Do you think we'll see near to a full first 11 playing in that game, Rob?
I don't know, mate. I don't know if it's got official status or not. If it's not,
yeah, they have.
It has.
They're all official.
Okay. No, I think we'll probably experiment at least.
Yeah, have a look at what we've got. I agree.
Let everyone have one game. I'd have thought they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. It's just if you get an injury and all of a sudden somebody has to play who hasn't played at all, and it's not ideal, is it? So don't worry about the series score. Give everyone a game and maybe go hard at it in the last game, or maybe not, because then don't show other teams what we're going to do. So
yeah, agree.
Anyway, we haven't got the time for the Strauss high performance. We've
Do you want me to finish with my story? My win story.
We've got one little story from Brandon. It's a tale of a cricketing what do we call it?
Miracle.
A fairy tale.
Miracle. Over at where did you play? At Stow Upland.
Stow Upland.
And you even messaged me.
Even messaged you, Crunch. That's where it got to. I went to bed on Friday night. We had 11 players when I went to bed on Friday night.
Brilliant.
I woke up in the morning and we had 9.
What was the matter? Why couldn't they play?
I was just about to say, Crunch.
Oh, sorry.
Listen here. This is lovely. I like this. Copyright though. Better turn off copyright. So one of the players works border force, and he was meant to finish his night shift at 4 a.m. So he was going to go home, get some sleep, come out, play cricket, and then he had another night shift on the Saturday night. But because he didn't get in till 8 a.m. from his night shift, he would have had to come play cricket and without any sleep, go and do another night shift. So that was fair enough. He called off because of that. Another player, he had no relatives, no siblings, and we have no idea still to this day who he was babysitting, but one player pulled off due to babysitting.
Did he have a night out and maybe met somebody?
No, not this guy, Rich. If you knew him, you'd know that wouldn't be the case.
A bit harsh.
Well, no, he'd understand if he was watching. Hi, George.
He doesn't watch.
If he's watching live, he is a darts player, so he's probably playing darts right now, getting very drunk. So we were down to 9. So the captain then wrote into the group. He said, "I'll put a post up. I've asked if anyone else can play because our second team didn't have a game, by the way. Didn't have a game."
Oh.
So we put the post up. We thought someone will play, surely. No one came forward. So our captain asked our group chat. He said, "Everyone happy to go with 9?" And someone said, "No, I've got a dodgy knee. I'm not going to bother playing if we've only got 9." So then the captain said, "Are we all happy to go with 8?" And 7 of us said, "Yes, yep, fine." And Owen Jones, he played. He said, "I don't want to go with 8." We were going to go with 7. Our captain then put a post up. He said to Owen, he said, we got 9. Someone else is playing now. Can you play? We were driving to Scotland. We told Owen Jones halfway on the way to Scotland we had 8. So he agreed to play at that point. So we were going over there with 8. We got to the match and 2 of our players were late. So we were going to start with our 70-year-old scorer having to maybe score on the pitch because we got put into bowl first.
Right.
And when we done the toss...
Goff does say we've got to be wrapped up by 8:30.
That's fine. It'll be done.
Hurry up, please.
It'll be done. So we done the toss, and the nice thing to do would be them to say you can bat first.
No,
but they said no. We're going to bat first. We're like brilliant, and they were the captain was really.
You're on the timer. You're on the timer. Come on.
I understand. So then all their players were laughing, joking, going into the change room, saying, we're walking these. We bowled them out for 150.
Oh, good effort.
Bowled out for. Our opening bowler bowled six maidens in a row to start the game, and we had 2 slips in. So we had 4 fielders in normal positions outside the slips, and he bowled 6 maidens, took 2 wickets.
Wow.
And our left arm spinner took a fifer. I took a catch at square leg, as you do. I was the only fielder on the leg side. And then we went in, knocked off with about 6 overs left. And we technically, in the book, it goes down that we won by 5 wickets. Obviously, we only had 2 wickets left. Our skipper finished 80-odd not out. And they cheated a run out, would you believe? We had their captain run out by about 4 yards. They didn't give it. So they cheated against 8 men. They still lost.
I mean, how did they feel at the end? What was the handshakes like at the end?
Well, they were giving, as I said, they were giving us shit the whole time. They weren't giving any decisions when we were bowling. And they were, one of their openers got 80 odd off about 30 balls out of their 150. And he hit our skipper for 3 sixes. And on the third one, he told our skipper to go and fetch. Fetch. So the next ball, our skipper got him out, caught and bowled. So he told the batsman to go and fetch. And then at the end of the game, our skipper got all sorts of crap when he went into bat. And it said he hit the runs, got 70 odd, 80 odd not out. And he could have proper over celebrated, but instead he hit it through for 4, turned around to the wicket keeper and went, "Well played, mate." And I think that rattled them the most, rather than us going over the top. And they were celebrating a 40th, and we outdrunk them, I imagine, in the changing room and the clubhouse as well. So, they were to Upland, and they got 20 points. Brilliant.
And then you decided to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. That because the last they got off after 2 balls. So, yeah.
There you go. Anyway, on that cheery note, what a story that was, Rob. I mean, what a way to end. That's probably one of the best endings we've had so far.
I'll have to dig into the annals and make one up for next week.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do that.
Mine's not made up. Mine's not made up.
We will be back. We will be covering the T20 World Cup. I don't know when we'll be back. We'll be back somewhere. I'll have a chat with Gov.
After the group stages. Get one before.
Yeah, we'll have a look at fixtures. When England have walked it and they're in the semis and we're all getting carried away that England are going to win, and then it probably all end in tears. Anyway, thank you for everyone joining in the chat. Colin, you've been an absolute star. Agreeing with Brandon way too much. So next time, can you please have a different opinion? And Brandon,
I disagreed with him on the Morgan.
Can you sort that Wi-Fi out? You keep disappearing and freezing.
Do I? I'm at the missus. Won't be next time.
Anyway, thank you for everyone who's watching. Stay with us because Talking Town's press conference react show is on next. So if you want to stay here, Rob, proper football, stay here. Anyway, see you all soon.